So, I don't know where, I have read that a society is somewhat judged by the way they treat their animals, their pets, and the livestock. And I think Temple Grandin is a genius. I really do. You can't put pigs in a wheelchair. They are going to suffer. And I kind of feel the same thing about elephants. If they're super sick and suffering, you could maybe put them out of their misery by putting them to sleep, and they would die, but they wouldn't have to suffer. And I do believe that prisoners that have done such heinous crimes out of stupidity and lack of knowledge, opportunity, and they have to stay in prison for their entire lives, I would give them a chance. I'd be like, do you want to do this? And maybe you can be good for society from within prison, or do you want to be put out of your misery and work with a counselor, things like that, to get the right plan for the humanity? And we got to pay for them. So you got to figure out how to harness their energy so they're not just vagabond prisoners with nothing to do and not doing anybody any good. So anyway, I guess my pet peeve right now is, just around Virginia, I go up to the governor's mansion a lot with the dogs, and I've asked them. I've written a couple different people, and somebody said it's LeVar Stoney's job, but they have a beautiful, beautiful antique water fountain, where in the past, probably the 1950s or 40s, if you were up on the governor's lawn, it's got a place for dogs to drink. It's got a place for children. It's a 3-tiered watering stand. And my dad always said, from the Ancient Mariner, he would say, water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. And because there's ponds and, they're guarded, they put, you can't get to the water. So what are we doing we know, children don't, but adults know when you're thirsty. How are we going to learn to treat our children and our animals if we don't at least supply them the water of life, say the holy water? It's all holy. Water's water. I just don't get it. And then I go up to the VMFA and they've got all this stuff, and Peter Cully did the gardens, I guess, but he didn't leave a place. As many people come up there, and I asked him, I said, do you not want me to bring my dogs? I won't bring them. But they do, but they don't have a watering station made by an artist that's beautiful for people, children, and pets. You should have water. Of course, they're nice enough, and most of the time they're open. But I don't understand what's so difficult about that, to get water, which is, the water is so important. To acknowledge a visitor, to say, hey, yeah, you're from Afghanistan, but here's the water fountain. I know you're poor over there. We can't afford water in Virginia to give people water. We got to rethink. And I also like when I'm out in LA or the hot part of California desert, and they have the little spritzers. I think something like that in Richmond, because we do get some hot summers. I think that would bring more tourism to buying at our shops.